What is up, Internet? It's your boy Tinku. And today we're going to give Netflix some due because they actually made a really good show. So today we're going to be talking about the Netflix show, the League of Legends Arcane show. But before we get started, don't forget to watch those videos, like those videos, subscribe to the channel. And of course, don't forget to keep leaving comments down below. I love actually talking to you guys. We're going to go ahead and get started. So for those of you who don't know what League of Legends is, commonly referred to as League, it is a PvP game that brings out the worst in humanity. I used to play it a lot with Editor Senpai. We used to play it quite a bit. Editor Senpai was gold level and I was bronze. Never could quite make the silver in my selection matches. Could never quite do it. But it's a team-based one. And depending on who you're paired up with, it could be a great experience or it could be one of the worst experiences of your life. I quit playing it because of the toxicity that it brought out in myself. It's a very toxic community, always has been, and it brings out the worst in people. It brings out the worst in yourself as well. So I quit playing it because it's not worth getting that upset over a game. Sometimes I'll play ARAM with some buddies, which is a very short, quick match, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't count towards stats or anything like that. But it has over 150 characters in the game. And so when I heard that they're going to make an animated show about it, I was kind of skeptical because Riot's had some controversy in the past, but they always did a good job with fleshing out their characters, their bios, their move sets, things like that. Sometimes they would change or update characters and then make them worse. But for a track record, they always had a good reputation from a storytelling standpoint in the game. So I was like, let me go ahead and give it a shot. So without going into spoilers, the show was a 10 out of 10. Hands down. I know I gave Castlevania an 8 or 9 out of 10. But this show surpasses that. It's 10 out of 10. One, the animation style. They keep the animation style true to the game. So in the game, how you read these characters' bios, you pull up the character bio, and there's like a still image of the character, but they do that still image thing where they move, and it's kind of like wistful almost. And that's where you can read the character bio. They keep that animation style in the show, which one, any fan of is going to really appreciate, and two, anybody who doesn't know the game is going to be okay with it because it looks nice. And so what's great about the show is you don't have to know anything about the game to love this show. That's what makes the show great, in my opinion, on top of everything. Like, you don't have to know any of the characters, know any of the background, know anything, because it's such a great story. You were compelled to watch it, even though you know nothing about the game, know nothing about the characters, who these characters are, why they're fighting, things like that. The show explains all that to you while staying true to the fans, and even the fans going, wow, like I read this in the bio, but seeing it acted out is really compelling, and wow, it's just really good. So the show revolves around two sisters, Jinx and V, who are playable characters in the game. I hate Jinx. I've always hated Jinx, probably because I was never good with her. Vi, as people call her, I was okay with, but I never played her too much because she's referred to a jungler. You don't have to worry about what a jungler is because it has nothing to do with the show. It's just in the game. But I was never too good with her too. But it revolves around them, showing them growing up in Bilgewater, which is one of the kingdoms in here, and they turn a conflict with the higher and lower people, stuff like that, the criminal organizations, and how they became who they are in the game. And it really makes you take a look because for me it was cool. Like, oh, I know that character. It sounds familiar. Oh, I know that guy. Oh, I remember him, even though I never really played any of these characters. When I played mainly tanks. So I'd play people like Rammus, Volibear, who's like a bruiser, Timo, who's one of my favorite characters ever. He's a Yordle. If you watch the show Heimerdinger, who is a big part of the show, he's a Yordle. The Yordle, they're like little short, like little gnome looking people. But there's really hardly any Yordles in it besides Heimerdinger. But even Heimerdinger is a decent character to play too. But like I said, you don't need to know anything about the game to watch this because it's great. It's about a struggle between high society, low society. There's literally a bridge and a river that separates the two sides. Heavily focused on Jace, who is the inventor of something called Hex Tech, which is kind of a mixture of magic and technology. And he has this humongous hammer as a weapon in the game. So like it's kind of interesting to see that build up to that point and how he decided to use that weapon. And it has a lot of other background characters that I don't want to mention. Victor's one of them. His story is tragic. I never really played him in the game either, but his story is really compelling because he's like Jace's best friend in this, and it's kind of weird because in the game they're like, so and just that buildup of how these two sides was like politically trying to manage them, trying to keep peace between them. What happened? How Vi and Jinx are in the middle of it, and how they pretty much, I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to ruin a lot of it, but like how it affected them as a family unit and everything like that. And how people like Caitlyn get involved, who is a cop basically for the higher end city. I mean, she's a sniper in the game. They actually called her the Tank Killer, a little inside baseball there. But just the story is just so compelling, and it revolves around these two, the events that happen, how it molded them into who they are in the game. And so it's just so compelling, you guys. You guys gotta watch it. It makes you kind of feel sorry for Jinx again, which I still hate Jinx. Even after watching this, I'm like, oh, you do. But still, it's like you understand a little bit more. So if you haven't seen it, if you haven't played the game, don't worry about it. Watch it. This is definitely a 10 out of 10. This is how Western animation should be. There's no over political messages. They don't try to cram in a bunch of more representation garbage. It's literally the stories that you get glimpses of in the game when you read the bios, fleshed out into animation that's beautiful. It looks good, and you get to see these stories firsthand. So I can't wait till the second season because they leave it on a huge cliffhanger, and I'm just like, ooh, I can't wait to see what happens next. And I can't wait to see any more characters. Maybe they're bringing people that I recognize, like Zach, Volibear, Ramus, Timo. If they brought Timo in there, I know Editor Sambo loses shit. That's one of his favorite characters. So, tell me if I'm wrong. You guys think I'm crazy? Do you guys like it as well? Have you guys seen it? Let me know in the comments down below. And remember, if you can't trust a fat guy you met on the internet, then who can you trust? And everybody have an awesome, awesome day.